Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and I have got a brand new CGC unboxing for you today. This right here is 6 books that just got in today. It is a fast track economy order that I sent in probably, I think it was wasn't quite the last week in October. It might have been. Last week in October, I got this in. I had submitted it with an order for, submission for Todd McFarlane for a couple books to get signed from him. This is the reason this order got into the system so fast, because with orders that are going for the signature series, you write the artist's initials on the box, and they know at CGC to open those boxes up quickly, because those boxes have got to get to the signing. It is a timely submission, and normally what I'll try to do is either send in 1 or 2 other orders with that, so they'll get into the system sooner. I already got back the other order that was in this whole box. That was the last video. Go back, watch the last video. That was a 9.8 pre-screen modern order. This right here, though, was, like I said, a 6-book order. We've got 6 economy books in here, and I think that is basically, it's got some older books in here, and this is pre-1975. I only did 6, and I fast-tracked it, and I'll tell you the reason why. I've got 2 economy orders in right now, one from April, one from, I want to say, August, and there's no signs of life, there's no signs of movement or anything. And I went with 6 books, mostly because I could have done more, but with that extra money it takes to fast-track, I was like, and plus I was doing it on top of a 25-book pre-screen submission. That was a lot of money all at the same time. So I cut it down to 6 books, and it was a reasonable price just to do the 6, and let's see how fast this fast track really is. And I will tell you something, fast track was fantastically fast. Not as fast as they got that pre-screen 9.8 order, and that was 25 books that they banged out quicker than this. I got that in a few days earlier than this. So I think I just gave you dates. As I said, it was in their system November 9th. They shipped it on November 14th. And today is November... What is today? Well, today I'm filming is November 18th. So, wow. This is so quick. So quick that they get this in here. So, let's just get into it. Let's see how I did. Filming this right now, let you guys know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I literally had just gotten back from work. But you know me, I can't wait to see what's in here, see what we did. I could go to bed, I could go to sleep right now, but I just want to see what's in the box. So what I'm saying is, off the top of my head, I can only remember 1 book completely that's in this order right here. And we'll find, it'll be kind of a surprise to see what the other ones were, because if I was a little bit more awake, I would be able to remember all of them, and maybe even prepare for the video and have the sheet out so I could have talked about them a little bit. I will go over, if I can get this cut, I will go over what I pretty much thought what the grade was, if I can remember. I know promises on that. A lot of these that I've done so far on the economy orders, the older books like that, I get them in the best shape I can, and kind of guesstimate the grade or a range of grades that I would be happy with when they come back. I had an order that was a sort of like that, some older books that I did pretty good on. I had one that was a real kind of a miss, but it was a mistake that I had made during the pressing process that really affected things. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's see. It's show and tell, guys. It's show and tell time. All right. First book up this is the one I remember that was in the order. This is Conan the Barbarian, number 24. And let's see. This, of course, is the first cover appearance of Red Sonja. Sonja? How do you say it? Like I said, I'm so tired. Picked this up from a Whatnot auction. It was in pretty good shape. Let's see how we did. Okay, that's probably 7.0. 7.0. That's actually a little lower than I expected on this. It was a little rough, but Yeah, well, I'll look up the grade values and see what the fair market value is on this, and I'm not sure, but right now my guess is that I've probably overpaid on this book to get it in. As I said, when I got it in, I thought it was definitely in better shape than a 7.0, but we'll go back, we'll read grader notes and see if there's some defects that I kind of missed, or something, maybe there's color, there's spots that I missed, or something like that. But 7.0 on Conan number 24. It's a beautiful, beautiful Barry Windsor Smith cover artwork in this book. I had never owned that before I bought that. So, okay, now here's one. Okay, so I remember now where I got this. This right here was a pickup from the National Sports Collectors Convention. It was in kind of rough shape. I felt like the price was pretty good, especially after I bundled and got the price down just a little bit. And I looked at this as a project grade because I know that the dealer there kind of looked at this as a VG copy. And I'm going, okay, it's a VG, but what can I do in pressing to get it up? So, like, I'm not expecting high on this at all. I may not even expect to be mid-grade. In fact, at this point, I think I'd be happy in that 4 or 5 range. We'll see. As I said, he had it as a VG. Let's just see what we got. Ooh, that's actually really good. It's 6.0 or right in that mid-range. Wow, that to me is a huge grade bump compared to what the dealer was kind of guesstimating this to grade out at. And I'll tell you something. There is a crease that I pressed out. You know, what's funny is I can't even see it through the acrylic here. There is a crease that goes through up here. It went all the way through, and I pressed and added moisture to it up there, and I can't, honestly, in this dim light that I've got in this 3 o'clock in the morning living room, I can't even see it in the light, but I know it's there, and I got it out as best that it was going to get out. I am super happy with the 6.0. I honestly didn't think this was going to get... I would have been happy in that 4 or 4.5 range. I'm not a grader. I can kind of get in that range. I'm very, very pleased with this. This 6.0 on this, fantastic. What a fantastic grade on this. I don't know what a 6.0 value is. Again, we'll put the values up on the screen, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, especially how rough it actually was. That right there is a big win. We're on the plus side on that. We're on the minus side a little bit on that Conan. Let's continue. Okay. So the same place I got the Conan from, I also got this. This is Captain America 109. It was a fantastic copy. I worked on it a little bit. I know what I kind of was hoping to get. And I'm going to tell you, I was really hoping to get it in that 9.0, 9.2 range. I don't know if it's going to get there. My gut tells me that it's not going to meet it. I think the spine was maybe a little rougher than I expect, but let's see how we did. Got that 8.0. Yeah, I mean, that was sort of my heart was telling me 9.0, 9.2. My mind, you know, the way I'm analytically thinking about this and things like that, 8.0 is probably pretty good. It's a little lower than I really wanted on this, and probably am going to lose value on this, but I tell you what, it presents really nice. Just the way the papers are stapled in and everything, it's a little cockeyed with the interior page sticking up here in the back. I'm not going to try to show you on screen, but it's not a defect. It's just the way the papers are collated and stapled together. But honestly, for an 8.0, this thing presents fantastically. There's a little bit of a kind of a date stamp up here, and I don't know, maybe that might have affected a little bit. It's not straight up a date stamp, but this right here is 8.0. My guess is I'm probably going to end up breaking even on this if I sell that. Okay, so that's kind of middle of the road. Kind of what I expected, not what I hoped. All right, 3 more books. Now, this one I got from Heritage Auctions, and there's a story behind Avengers 69. This right here, Avengers 69, was the very first comic that I ever purchased as a collector, from buying from a store. This was I can't even say online store. I remember early 80s ads in the comic books, and I remember picking one of the sellers out and mailed away and got a catalog. And I loved how what they did in the catalog was they would have a whole run of all the different books that were out, and they spotlighted, I don't think it was straight the villains that were in the books, but it basically spotlighted things about every issue. And what it said about this is it's a Kang appearance. And I grew up, my first Avengers book was, I think, 110. So that was the start of my love for the Avengers, around issue 110. But I'll tell you what, it was issue 129 where giant Kang on the cover. In fact, I'm going to say up there on the wall, I've got a reproduction of that particular issue with Kang. And I was a super Kang fan, and I wanted to go back and start getting older issues and reading more about Kang and some of his storylines. And this right here, not this copy, of course, but this was Avengers 69 by Sal Buscema, the great Sal Buscema and Roy Thomas. This was the very first one that I ever bought. In the years since I've met Sal Buscema, I've had him sign it, and then over this last summer, I got Roy Thomas to sign that exact same first copy and I kind of gave him that story. This was the very first story I ever collected, and take it for what it's worth, but he was very gracious about that and took that. He didn't just like poo-poo me or anything. But this right here, this copy, got from Heritage Auctions, and I want to say they were grading it out as, I think, a VF or a VF plus. I don't think it was a near mint minus, but let's see how we did. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. I really have to go back and I'll double check and see if that's what they really graded at it. 7.5 is really a disappointing grade. I expected much better on this. This presents really well. I mean, the corners aren't the most sharp, but there's no creasing in it. The back is really clean. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's got white pages, of course, but 7.5, I tell you, that is a disappointing grade. This is one I might have to really investigate and take a look at. I'm not. Yeah, this one, if it graded, if I go back and check the Heritage and it graded out higher, they estimated the grade higher than this, and I have to question what this is right here. So that right there is, right now, is the big disappointment so far because of how much I love that issue. All right, two more books. Oh, this one I remember getting down at Heroes Con over the summer, and it is one of my favorite issues from this time period, early 70s. It is the first cover appearance of Thanos, Captain Marvel number 26 here. And I didn't care about Thanos. I didn't care really about Captain Marvel all that much at the time. I just remember seeing this beautiful illustration of the Thing. I was such a Ben Grimm fan back in the day. I loved how John Buscema drew him. I loved how Starlin drew him. And just a great character. I love this issue. As I said this before, I read the cover off of these issues. And I still have my original copies of this Captain America run. This was my very first Captain Marvel book. And I just love that whole original Thanos storyline. He becomes a demigod with the help of the Cosmic Cube. And I kind of wish they had pulled a little bit more from that storyline instead of what they did with Infinity Gauntlet, because that storyline was just awesome. I mean, you introducing Star Fox, of course, Eros and his father, his and Thanos' father, and you've got the Destroyer, the original Destroyer, of course, and well, not the Thor Destroyer. So Drax, of course. Just absolutely, I love these, and I've gotten this. I bought I think a 7.0 from Heritage, or 7.5, just to have in the PC a much better copy. I bought this one raw from a dealer at the Heroes Con over the summer. Let's see how we did. 9-0. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. My guess is this is going to end up being a kind of a break even if I had to guesstimate at this point based on what I paid, but we will check and we'll see what the value is this. I'll give you the fair market value for what this is right here. Luckily, for the most part, these are PC books. The Conan and the Iron Fist are going to be ones that I probably won't hold on. I don't have a childhood affinity for either of those two books, but of course I just went on about the Avengers, and I also going on about this here. So those two are definitely ones that are for the PC. So a 9.0 is a much better grade than I'd had before, so that right there is a plus to the collection, and I'll probably go back, I'll have to dig out the 7.75, whatever it was, and I'll probably end up trying to sell that just to help pay for part of this order and just get out of that book because I've got a much better version now. All right, last book right here. I thought this was a really good copy. I got this off of a seller on Facebook Marketplace. I had bought multiple things from him, and I thought this was a super clean copy of Captain America 112. Now, in previous orders, you've seen me really go gaga over books, the Steranko books, issues 110, 112, especially number 13, but 112 in the middle of it was a Kirby issue. It's you've got Iron Man kind of lamenting Cap's death from the issue before, and you get a kind of a history of Captain America from a little bit from the Silver Age or a Golden Age up, and then you start to see the adventures that you saw during, just a recap of things you saw in Tales of Astonish, and then the first 11 issues of, or 12 issues of Captain America once it became its own title. And I thought this was super clean. I think this is going to grade out pretty good, especially because I didn't pay a lot for this one. So let's see what our grade is. 8.5. Now I thought this was better than an 8.5. I think with what little I paid for it, I think it's going to come out pretty good as a value. This is a book I'll be glad to have in the PC for a while, but I won't mind parting with it at some point. But what a beautiful Kirby cover, right? That is just awesome with all the villains on there and everything. So this is my experience with a fast track economy order. I've got a couple books in here that'll be for resale that'll help pay for this order. With just 6, it wasn't super expensive, but I am super impressed by the speed. I question a couple of these grades a little much, especially at Avengers 69. I'm super ecstatic about the Captain Marvel. I'm sorry, the Iron Fist number 14. Of course, I didn't talk about the book at all, did I? So we talked about the book. I forgot to even talk about this. Of course, you've got the first appearance of Sabretooth. John Byrne artwork. What a great story. Didn't Claremont wrote this too, didn't he? Yeah, it's a Claremont story. John Byrne artwork. So just a classic X-Men team on the inside. You got a Dave Cochran cover. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's straight up X-Men, an X-Men book, right? I mean, that's the team. You'd get Cochran doing some of those covers, but you get an interior. When Byrne came on, you still got Cochran covers a little bit, but Claremont was there writing all that. So it's awesome. You got the sort of that team right there. But this one right here is the big winner. We'll put that one up for display right there. Super happy with it. Was considering how much how much I paid for it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy me talking about the books and my love for a couple of these and my speculation for some of the others and my disappointment and my excitement over a few of these. And yeah, so it's pretty good. So overall, pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the next show. I don't know what it's going to be at this point. This show right here will be coming out. Of course, this will still be Friday more. What is today? This will be a Monday. This is Monday. You'll be watching this on Monday, guys. So the next show probably will be I'm going to try to do a comic show over the weekend. I will probably do a comic book haul video for you after this one. Stay tuned, and then after that, we're going to do a recap of the big Thanksgiving Day sale that I go to with one of my LCSs, and I'm excited about picking up some really, really, really good bangers at that show. If you go back a couple videos ago, and you'll see my Thanksgiving recon episode, and you know what I'm looking at. You know which books I'm looking at. Yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to go super expensive or kind of go with smaller keys and try to collect more books, get more books in the order. But to be determined, and that'll be one of the future episodes over this next few days. So, guys, thanks for everything. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Hope you enjoyed the books, and I will see you for the next one. Take care.